All right, I'm just going to start with the song this time. I'll explain what this is after I do this. Overheard some. And here we go. Take two. Overheard some random dude on the subway today. Not sure if he was crazy, but this story isn't true anyway. So please don't accuse me of being insensitive. But he said to feed the machine, no matter who plants your dreams, just live for the peace, and the whole world will see. He said, deliver the heart and sing for the lost. Be sure to carry the sermon wide and love even when the reason dies. And now my improvised beat comes in right now. My honkies, my honkies, my honkies, my honkies. I'm allowed to say honky over and over again, so please don't ban me, because I barely see the sun and I look like powder from that film from back in 1995 when I used to have hair. I never knew why shaving your head might make others stare, or judge your general socio-political fanfare. The only reasons I scraped my brain helmeted skin is to eliminate the gray and to feel that clean Jersey wind, if that really was such a thing. But it is in fact called the Garden State, so I guess that really must be such a thing, at least in certain regions and wings. Someone actually once told me that I look like Rappaport from Higher Learning. Good movie, but I'm seriously not the type of guy who complains about some white man's burden or the white man's superiority shuffled subversion. Like that dude with the Viking helmet during that whole insurrection reckoning. He looked kinda cool, but I'd still be a bit hesitant to sit beside him at a pub and share a tonic and gin. Like Billy Joel making love with all his piano man swagger, donning his critically acclaimed Captain Jack grin. But enough with all this political head spinning on a whim. When I say honky, it's just meant to supply a laugh, or maybe even two or three until some might possibly pee their pants, like when I was a kid and my cousin Anthony impersonated Apollo Creed by yelling, I want you, and sadly I didn't make it to the toilet in time, pissed down my leg, but it was well worth the cleanup in aisle 5, as this embarrassing memory now made it into this rhyme, especially since my mind is currently in short supply of original vines to document these many ego-submissive whines. But Rocky is still one of the greatest movies to prime your spine. The underdog proud Guinea southpaw from South Philly that Bill Burr once mocked as a fictional messiah. But to be fair, his analysis was pretty spot on, for it's hard to deny the man love for that Italian-American icon. I did just refer to the mighty Rock as a guinea, and just said it again, which might seem sacrilegious and efficiently offensive, but I think I'm still allowed to promote such flippancy because my fam is from Sicily right off the boat, just like Vinny Paz and the Corleones, so hopefully I won't get a baseball bat to the chin if I chant my guineas over and over again, until my inner Joe Pesci suddenly kicks in, and I end up stabbing myself in the neck with a pen. Go home and get your shine box, I'd yell on the floor as I bled, as the other guineas cut some carpet to wrap my meatless bones in. And Sonny from the Bronx yells, put him in the bathroom. He's just a muss dressed in drag with no cannolis or prosciutto. But moving on now from those few racial slurs that I might be allowed to spew from my ironic disposition unblocked, if I ever transitioned to a lady, I'd surely name myself Goldilocks. And when I met those three bears, I'd quickly explain that I'm on a lot of different hormone treatments at the moment, and I'd pay them back when my refurbished pronouns are clearly and proudly paraded and espoused. But I'm much too lazy to shave my legs every day, so I'm just going to stick to whatever, 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 whatever. Gone till November, whatever, whatever. The lunatic shouted while hemorrhaging, whatever, whatever. The honky guinea, Mickey loves you son of a bitch, cried when he finally flipped his uninsured lid and slid on down to take that into the blue trip before begging for voluntary organ auctioning. For now the blood and marrow is all I have to offer, because I plan to live long and prosper and find something relevant to rhyme with lasagna, Botswana, marijuana, Madonna, like a virgin watching a fish called Wanda, whatever, the junta, waka waka, Fozzie Bear soaking in Tijuana, whatever, Anaconda, deliver this verse from evil, god of thunder, plus the hunger, whatever, everyone across the scattered soil, please run and fetch the cucumbers. You could go back to the hook if that's how this is going to go, or maybe wait till the end, I'm not sure yet. Maybe a horn part to break this up. Alright, I'm going to start it, see if I can get through this one clean as possible. Mr. Poopy Butthole is one of my favorite cartoon characters. Please let this verse go by quickly because I'm tired of all this Mr. Rogers delusionally perceptive, trolley-doctored make-believe. Equally mentally distant and distracted through the flurry of some of these weak-sauce diatribes. But Mr. Rogers was a legit badass gangster, so I won't speak bad about that sweater-loving man who loved his neighborhood so much he shared the harmony with every stranger in the crowd. I wish he would have collaborated with Bob Ross and painted some majestic, happy clouds, but I shouldn't really complain about all this dialectic drivel or diabetic fissure. But I really need that commercialized money tree and maybe just a few spoonfuls of that rage-induced creatine to better summon my inner gangsta naval fleet, and probably a little less time on all these landlocked itchy screens, for Big Brother might short sell on my dreams, utilizing a more feminine surveillance team. But still I search for some words to steam the stream, or is rapping like praying, because when I'm in rapper mode I might forget to pray for a few days, when I'd float out all those peace-loving vibes to Jews, Muslims, Christians, atheists, and Arrested Development fans, both the show and the band, whether straight, gay, somewhat curious, or trans. For there are many colors in that homo rainbow, to quote Diener and Jeaner, and the mighty Boognish doesn't discriminate or buy time, saturated in fear and hate with stones and sticks, based on centuries of dishwashing politics. Whatever, underactive, overactive, whatever, maybe a thyroid radioactive, whatever, just another honky with a proper prep school backing, grounded on 2 feet with a show and tell, glossy bachelor's degree, and a lone wolf pristine and proud pedigree, whatever. Some advised to dress in layers and maybe even run for mayor, turn Camden into an East Coast artistic retreat, autistic and free, like Amsterdam seems to be. But the political science perspires like the relations foreign, and the communication falters like mazes and fields of corn, whatever. I guess the truth just must have misremembered, and the clocks still prefer to implement the never, until the toilet seat, like the most apoplectic diss track ever, dismembers the gospel of whatever. So please, kids, seriously now, stay in school, eat your carrots, take your vitamins, and pray to end all feuds. Always listen to your DARE officers so you don't become another homeless tycoon raised by raccoons. Like those 2 dudes in Trading Places, quickly discovered and effused with that odor accrued through skunked perfume. As saving for rainy days can't always anticipate the pace, so stay off the rock and someday soon pay your dues. But don't get fooled by the comfort or the security, or that football player's envy-seducing salary, or those prearranged, rearranged, disengaged mutinies. For some will test and others will trigger, and even more will blame their illness on the shiver, just a sliver to reconsider, like the silver and malt liquor, or another Nolan Ryan no-hitter. Ventura should have really sprinted away less embittered, and broken the headlock to block his own boulevard. No shame in admitting weakness, crying uncle, or begging for the fullest range of motion for both legs upon both knees to the good Lord, who supposedly helps me help me, and also decrees that my hairline recedes, as the scavengers replace my testament and deed, intestines to need, amendments to plead. But my final will is easy. Just go ahead and burn me out on the high seas. But good old reliable Crohn's disease pushed 7 figures on that latest quarterly, as representatives to the malevolent queen, now recycle us all like Soylent Green. That's an ancient cinematic reference, and I still haven't seen the whole movie. But cannibalism is the ultimate horror to try to intellectually eat. Are there any opposing opinions to transmit that feed regarding the nutritional benefits of consuming human beings? The Donner Party might be the first to rise and plant that seed, but desperate folks can't be trusted to sell those feverish policies. Like World War III or playing a carefree game of Monopoly. You'll even get to be the banker this time and park for free, but only if you keep the information unreleased within bleached industries and more governments greased. That last word does not refer to guineas, honkies, or any specific ethnicity, for we all roll the dice to buy the boardwalk police and the park place disease. Cut coupons with your teeth and frame those receipts. Kinko your dreams, kinko your meat, kinko your past, kinko your creed, and kinko your whatever. 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 All dogs go to heaven. I guess 3D printers will put us all out of business someday to better automate the rat race and pacify the NRA. Is this verse now finished like a Daniel Plainview reincarnated with a bowling pin drawn to better explain combustible zoning laws constructed within my mind to shine on like a crazy diamond? But seriously, that might be Daniel Day's greatest foray concerning the ethics of manifested destined greed versus the hocus pocus impact psychologically regarding any ism that features infallibility. But it's mischief night in New Jersey, and I've been on my porcelain throne for almost 20 minutes now, complaining about the rain. For all those on some buffer delay, I'm still trying to write without fretting the limits, but Freddy Krueger might be quite disappointed with some of my emulsified diction. Am I really back to counting the masturbatory meter to live minute by minute by minute by minute? Maybe I'll just wipe now and let someone else steer, for there's certainly a self-driving appeal to what is real and what gets concealed. I guess whatever works for each New Year's sacrifice. So whatever, even had a dream about this general outlook, as a general warns from the lookout, but again, whatever. Just like the desert fish, the tangled, disjointed return of the desert fish. Whatever. Still like the desert fish. No more space in the brain for the fear to exist, so just evict it and let it slide and slip until someone else can try to figure out any of this existential dialysis. But I'm still going with the flow like the desert fish. Whatever. Striving daily to exhale outside that political split as the paradigms once again shift. Whatever, and all dogs still go to heaven. Whatever. Now I need to rise up because my bum is about to go uncomfortably numb. Just going to work out and pray so I can thrive in the Amazon. Whatever. The art might support me someday when the less neurotic glove fits, for when the expressions and alleged disgraces don't suit your face, the jury must acquit. Whatever. Time to view time as a gift, like an eternal quilt to keep your feet warm, or Beethoven's Fifth. Just put the phone away, Ray, for now the classical fish must pray for whatever. I really hope that sounds decent, because I don't want to do this again. Not that I don't enjoy doing this. I want to keep to my routine of working out. So this was like a 2-hour improvised thing that I wasn't planning to do today. This evolution of a song, maybe I'll talk more later too. Let me stop the beat. Hold on. This is the end of the song. That was probably my 7th or 8th attempt to do this, and I think I'm going to stop there, whatever it sounds like, because I don't even know if that beat is going to be what I use in the future. I thought it was kind of interesting that I just came up with it this morning. Boom, boom, bam, boom, boom, bam, boom, bam, boom, boom, bam, 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 bam. So whatever Muse led me to that, yeah, thank you, Muse. And that's kind of interesting. You could add some other stuff too to that, but like the Bobby McFerrin, just keep it simple and kind of organic. I like that flavor. You might not even need drums. Like I've never put layers together for anything. Not really. Maybe I've tried to do bass lines and stuff, but I've never tried to add percussion. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the cymbals in this song, something on the higher register, something like a that could work. But yeah, this is a work in progress. It's a cool experiment. Well, of course, everything is a work in progress. It's a cool experiment because this is what I'd be doing in my shipping container. I was doing this in the bedroom, and then I was like, I can't concentrate. So I came into this little, like almost like an attic space that's kind of closed in, and maybe has better acoustics too. When I was doing my Garrity rant, this is how I did it. So I recorded the beat, the boom, boom, bam, boom, 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 boom. But then I had to slow it down a little for my own documenting, so I know this in the future. I slowed it down and it just sounded really bad. And then I sped it up a little, and hopefully it sounds somewhat decent to listen to. But I think that hook is very catchy, and you could put that in the beginning and maybe in the middle or at the end, or just don't because this song might be too long. I'm not sure yet. That hook is very catchy though. Like maybe just end it with that last line. He said, "Deliver the heart and sing for the lost. Be sure to carry the sermon wide and love even when the reason dies." I think you could use that last four lines in between the verses and at the end if you want to get a little bit more experimental with some of the transitions and stuff. This was hard to get through. Of course, I'm reading it. I don't have this memorized. Like, I'm just being serious. I could work out today and listen to this, and I still want to memorize it. It's just too much it's too wordy. This would be a song that I would never perform live. I would have to read it. I don't know how rappers and other people do it. For Bob Dylan stuff, he's got some songs that are like 20 verses long, and I don't know how people remember it all. But that's where I'm at with this song. I think it came out the best I could do right now. I might keep doing this and to try to just get my breathing better. When I did my Garrity rant, I was walking back and forth, like pacing like a madman, because I was trying to get into that mentality of the Garrity rant. If you want to go back and listen to it and see what I'm talking about, that was more of that's from my screenplay. It wasn't a rap song. This was a different experience because I'm just trying to get into the flow of that beat, and I don't know how it's going to sound until I listen to it after I'm done talking. But so this is another evolution of a song that I did not plan to do at all. But hopefully it comes all right. What else should I really talk about? Because I wasn't expecting to speak about this today. I'll say No Emotion, Money Mowgli. I forget the other people in that scene, but I'll give them some credit because that's a kind of flow that I can do. The No Emotion, the one about the Super Mario Brothers, whatever it was called, so Super South Florida Bros. That was one of my favorite albums of 2024, 25, whenever it came out. And it gave me a different perspective of how I can recite my stream of consciousness stuff. It doesn't have to be like a radio Kanye, Jay-Z, 50 Cent song. You could do it in your own fashion. Aesop Rock, is that his name? People like that kind of have a different style. Deltron 30, I've talked about that before. The funky Homo sapien, Dan the Automator, Deltron. There's a lot of other ones that I'm not really thinking of, but if I'm going to make spoken word stream of consciousness stuff, it would be in this kind of vein like this. But there is potential with this one because it's just all over the place. I think the reason I thought of this today is because later this week I'm going to share, maybe on Saturday I can share my June essay, which is just a stream of consciousness that I've been working on for the last few days or the last week or so. And it's just this stream of consciousness. I was going to try to read Ayn Rand and get all political and get all serious, and I'm like, man, I'm doing enough of that shit. Let somebody else do that. You want to read Ayn Rand and learn about all that libertarian, whatever it's called. Like, I don't even know what she was considered. But I didn't feel like going down that road, but I might do it later if I really run out of things that I want to write about. Ayn Rand, what was she technically? Just a political ideology. Well, it's radical individualism, laissez-faire capitalism, rational self-interest. So not completely self-centered, but rationally. She strongly advocated for a society where individual rights are protected by a strictly limited government, completely free from state intervention, welfare, or taxation. See, the libertarian thing sounds great. It is kind of the anarchist agenda to have no government, but I don't know if it really works ever. What do you do with people who can't survive like that? It's survival of the fittest to just the craziest degree. I don't know if you can have a workable society like that. No, I'm not talking about politics this morning. Yeah. So I was going to go down that flavor. I was going to read Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead and get into that. But it's not the time to do that yet for me. I want to be fair to everything. Like, I've never read the Communist Manifesto. I remember planning to read it, but I never got through it. I remember reading stuff in college, but never reading the whole book and stuff. So political ideology stuff still has some interest to me. But I'm more just trying to expand my own biases that I'm not even aware of. 'Cause I'm sure I have biases because I don't experience life as other people. I have biases that I don't even know I'm being biased, but are stereotyping stuff. Like, I didn't even know what Ayn Rand was really considered. I thought she was more libertarian. That makes sense. I think there was a radio host I used to listen to, Dennis Prager, and he's got like Ayn Rand University or some. I see YouTube commercials for that. Like, I'm all for the individuality thing. I think that's the best way to organize your own life. But what about? There has to be some kind of a network of support. Some people call it a whatever it's called, I forget the term now, a soft landing. If shit hits the fan, like in the pandemic times, everyone was going fucking crazy. A safety net, that's the word that a lot of Republicans use. Should there be a safety net? I don't know. Why am I talking about politics? I don't want to go on a stream like this. It's too early for this shit. But anyway, that plan went out the window. So this month's essay is just a stream of consciousness that I'll continue adding to. It's already pretty long. Not quite as long as this song, but it's in the same flavor, the same vein of just whatever pops in my head. Like last night, I'm listening to the Phillies game, and I just started writing stuff. And those were the words that came out and just hit me. Just hit me in whether in any part of any time of the day, some inspiration will hit, and I'll just start writing stuff like I'm a robot. I don't even know where the words are coming from, like I'm doing right now. It's a similar feeling. I don't even know where these words are coming from. So it gets like that. Maybe this is something I can do in addition to working out. I'm still trying to get a job. That's not a fictional thing. I really don't care where the job is at this point because I just need to find a different experience in life. And I think the West Coast will give me that. So that's still on my priority list. But this would be kind of like my daily routine, working out, working, and then wherever I end up living, saving up enough money to do this and becoming, doing it myself. I think that's the best way I could do this project. So that's my plans for the future. It's not exactly what I'm doing right now, but this is the mentality I need to get into, that I'd be working every day, trying to promote a more a better flow. Like that's the key to help my voice and my breathing control to develop a better flow, so I can do a song like this and not butcher it completely. This is far from a finished product, and I don't even know what my style is yet. That I'll share the No Emotion and maybe some other albums and artists that kind of led me to this, to write stuff like this. It was definitely the No Emotion Super South Florida Bros, because that album changed my perception of how you can speak over a beat. The way he does it is pretty unique. I can get down to anything pretty much. Like, I can't do the flow like an Eminem or a Snoop Dogg. Everyone's got their own style. So I'm just trying to find a way to do it that sounds interesting to me and hopefully interesting to other people. And creating the loop was actually kind of interesting. The timing wasn't completely right because I can't really do much just on my phone, but that's what I'm working with at this point. Do boom bam bum 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 boom bam boom boom bam 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 bum. So I'm just trying to develop that flow, um, and see where it goes in the future. And yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to sound yet. So hopefully this isn't a complete waste of time that I just did this. Either way, it's a good way to practice some of these things. I was going to go to a poetry reading in Princeton, New Jersey, months ago. I was like, it's a free open mic thing. I was gonna recite these lyrics over like some ambient music and see how I did. But eventually, I didn't get the courage or the motivation to do something like that. In the future, maybe it's something I'll try doing, just reading some of these things. But it's not easy, man. I never thought it would be that hard to just speak for 10 minutes. I never thought it would be such a, like, really, my level of appreciation for performance art is just, I realize what people go to school for, that to learn breathing control or controlling your tongue, your vocal delivery. Everything is necessary to work like a machine. I'm the machine. Like that, who's that comedian guy? I'm the machine. So I'm trying to get that in my head to not get so tense and let my breathing get so tense. I'm trying to relax. And I was kneeling down when I recited this, like I was in a yoga position. And maybe it came out smoother, hopefully, like that. And I mentioned Bobby McFerrin, so I'll share him too. I only know a couple songs that I've heard from him. The famous one, Don't Worry, Be Happy. But his daughter's actually really talented too. I liked her album from a couple years ago. I forget her name. So I'll share some things that led to this inspiration. Is it? Yeah, Madison McFerrin. Madison McFerrin, American singer-songwriter. Yeah, so check her out. I'll share some of these things. Yeah, Bobby McFerrin is her father. So that's what I was kind of thinking of when I was doing that simple boom boom bum 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 boom bum boom boom bum 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 bum. Ah. Yeah, so I'm just trying to layer some interesting things that would would go with my vocal inflections and delivery if I have any of those things yet. And I don't practice this, so of course I'm not going to be good at it at this point. I just have to keep maybe taking a song a day and trying to develop beats. Maybe I can do that at least. Another big inspiration for this is because I was talking about Wesley Willis yesterday. My talk yesterday, I mentioned Wesley Willis and how he was a street performer in Chicago, I think, and he just had his keyboard and he would make similar beats and whatever music when he was doing his songs and singing, but he had it in such a way that it was a beautiful, creative, unique voice. And yeah, I got to get into him more. I just learned of him recently, a few months ago. So I don't know enough about him to really say like he's some genius artist, but his story is very inspiring, and maybe that's why Jello Biafra connected with him and did things with him. So yeah, I'm going in this direction. I'm going to see how this sounds. I don't want to make this a 2-hour talk because I really don't have anything else to talk about. This was just a spur of the moment evolution of a song, and hopefully it didn't sound really stupid. But either way, I think it's good for me to just get some of these things out. This entire album is pretty crazy. The album is called Whatever, Whatever. And yeah, I'm just talking. This was back in October 31st. Yeah, that's when I kind of shared a lot of these songs. I was getting ready to go to Amazon for the Amazon job, and I was getting a lot of these thoughts out. So maybe I could try some of these other ones because I was inspired by something. These are just really, really long, congested songs, man. Kind of like the Velvet Underground one. But that's a different flavor too. It's like I have to get my inner David Bowie to do a song like this, and then to do the tribute Velvet. That's like more Velvet Underground, but it's just as long-winded stream of consciousness stuff. So stuff like this is very, I don't know. I don't know if you can perform this stuff. I gotta look up Velvet Underground concerts and see how they perform some of those songs. A lot of people mention that band Suicide in that same era of like New York underground stuff. I never connected with that one album. But yeah, I want to get weirder with the avant-garde with something like the Tribute Velvet album. Maybe I can pick a song from there, the Antichrist song or something. But this one is more just hip-hop Bobby McFerrin with just simple beats, maybe. Maybe this is the Bobby McFerrin album where I would just have very simple, organic flow. Everything would have to be like non-digital creation with just natural sounds, natural beats, like from beatboxing or from your vocals. That would be an interesting concept. So this is an evolution of the album, really. If you want to make a concept for this entire album, it would be listen to Bobby McFerrin and learn about his style and see what kind of a influence you could get from him, because I don't know him well enough to talk about it. You know, that's just a song that was everywhere back in the 80s or 90s. The Don't Worry, Be Happy. And it's got that na 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 na. Yeah, it's just so instantly catchy, man. Probably if you make a list of the happiest songs ever, you got to put that on there, and the song "Happy" Pharrell. Those might be the top two or number one seeds. I remember listening to talk radio. They would do that sometimes. The Field of 64 of like sitcoms or rock bands or whatever. And this one, if you made a tournament of the happiest songs ever written, it'd probably be "Here Comes the Sun." It would be "Don't Worry, Be Happy" and "Happy" by Pharrell. And maybe "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" because that's a pretty happy song. So I got to dig into Bobby McFerrin. I don't know. He just popped in my head today. Maybe I'm supposed to go down that discography. Maybe I'll listen to him as I go to work out today. But yeah, so that's today. I'm not going to talk for longer. Yesterday I spoke for like 2 hours because I planned that one to read a book and to get my thoughts out. And that was my song, evolution of a song number 8, which was a planned occurrence. This one was just woke up this morning and I had to get this song out. I wanted to just try to experiment with making a looping beat on my phone. Thankfully, with my recorder, I could play the beat and then sing over it on a different. It's not exactly a 4-track. Maybe there is an app like that I could search for and buy for my phone. I'm sure there is. I just never really thought about it to make 4 tracks or multi-tracks. It doesn't have to be 4 tracks. But a song like this could be very simple. It could be only 4 tracks. This is my Bobby McFerrin mixed with Springsteen, Nebraska, which would only be like 4 tracks a song. So very minimal and very organic. No fancy effects or auto-tune or anything like that. There's probably auto-tune apps, but I'm not interested in that. Auto-tune's going to die soon. I predict that, if it hasn't already. I don't know if people even still use it. But in certain cases, I can deal with it. Sometimes it's just too plastic and too generic. But sometimes it's cool. Like, I don't think what I'm doing would call for auto-tune because I'm not really trying to mimic that style. I don't really know what my style is yet. I just go from album to album and try to create something as it goes and try to make it happen organically, not to fit a trend or fit a radio-friendly prototype. I'm really trying not to act like that, but I do want to make money from this. I don't think this could ever be a radio song, so maybe my next impromptu type of song would be something that's only 4 minutes long that could be on the radio. This one I don't think could be on the radio at all. It's just too I don't know, it's too out of the ordinary. It doesn't have any legitimate radio-friendly material. It's just a stream of consciousness I wrote on the toilet. I wrote these lyrics on the toilet in like a 20-minute manic flurry. I was just typing on my phone like, oh my God, I got to get these thoughts out as I'm pooping. Pooping. And it was just really something I've done before, but not often. It's kind of annoying to do it on the toilet. But when inspiration hits, you got to do it even if you're on the toilet. So that's it for today. I'm at 40 minutes. I think that's long enough to ramble in this. I don't usually do this early in the morning, so hopefully it sounds all right. Yeah, so maybe I'll continue this, but I really want to start doing the workout routine in the morning, so I don't think I'm going to do this every day. Or if I can find an hour or 2 hours to do this, then I'll do it. Trying to find a song that could actually be a radio song might be my next important exploration. To find a song that could actually be on the radio would be very important to me, because that could actually gain me recognition as a songwriter and some money. I need some money, yeah. And yeah, so that's it for today. That was Evolution of a Song number 9. And yeah, thanks for listening.